Okay, I know it's not quite 11 o'clock yet. It is, oh, now it is. Clock just moved to 11. So we're going to start with a little bit of review of yesterday, and then we're going to move into today's multiplication strategies. But first, I know some of you saw, so I will show you real fast. Let's see. There is, oh, wait. I want to get the angle just right. That is my little kitty, Midnight. She can be a little troublemaker sometimes. And if you look right over there, you will see Ray looking out the window. So those are my kitties. And it is 11 now, so we can get rid of that. Just let me adjust this camera now. And we're good to go. Looks like Midnight wants to get some camera time. Okay, so yesterday we were working with place value. Here, can I adjust that just a tiny bit? There we go. I like that better. Okay. Yesterday we were working with place value. So place value, I'm just going to go over real fast, and then once again we're going to go into multiplication strategies. So let's start it off. I'm going to pick just a number. We're going to do 341 and 72. Now, when we do 341 and 72, and we're talking about the places, we have our 3 is in the hundreds. Our 4 is in the tens. Our 1 is in the ones. Remember, our decimal point stands for and because we don't have a whole number here. Then we have our 7, which is in the tenths. Remember, the TH at the end tells us this be after the decimal point or behind the decimal point, and then the 2 is in our hundredths. Now, just a reminder, we don't have a once place because if we have 10 tenths, it gives us the ones, so there is no such thing as a once place. Here, let's see. I see some complaints about can't see, so let's see if I can bring it up. Is this better for those of you that could not see? Okay. Sorry, due to the technology I have and everything like that, this is as good as it's going to get. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit better. Yeah, I can see it's a little bit blurry, but I think you can see it. I'll make sure to write a little bit bigger too. Okay, so if we're talking about the value of these numbers now, we're going to have our 3 in the hundreds place, which says our 3 is worth 300. Then we have our 4 in the tens place, which says it is worth 40. Our 1 in the ones place, which says it's worth 1. Our 7 in the tenths place, which says we don't have anything there, but we have 7 in the tenths place. And then we have 2 in the hundreds place, so we write our 2 in the hundreds place. So now that we've done a little bit of review, again, this is just quick review of what we did yesterday with some decimals. We're going to move into multiplication strategies, and actually knowing what these place values are will help us a lot when it comes to our multiplication. So I'm going to show you 3 different strategies today. I'm going to show you the standard method. So we have our standard method, which is it's basically the way that everyone's parents know how to multiply. Everyone says, that's the normal way to multiply. Now, there's other ways to multiply, and I'm not going to say they're not normal. It's just this is the one that a lot of people use. The next one I'm going to show you today is partial products. Partial products is just a way to break the numbers down to make them a little bit easier and still be able to multiply. Nothing scary, nothing crazy. It's just another strategy. And then my favorite alternative method to the standard method would be the box method. So we have these 3 strategies we're going to go over today. And that is what's going to happen. So I'm actually going to start with the box method, then do partial products, then do the standard method, even though I wrote them in that order. But we have the box method, so let's start with that. Let me scooch this up just a little bit, move that remote out of the way. And here we go. So the box method is used, it can be used for any size number. It's typically used for 2- and 3-digit numbers just because those ones are kind of the ones where people have trouble with, and it's, you know, it's just helpful to kind of break the numbers apart. So what you do, let's say I had the number 27 and I was multiplying it times 46. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to break these numbers up and make them easier to multiply. So this is where we go back to our place value, which is at the top of the page up here. So what I'm going to do is my 2 is in the tens place, so I'm going to make that value worth 20. My 7 is in the ones place. I have 7. So, and you can put your numbers on top or below or on whatever side you want. I'm going to put on the left side and on the bottom just because I wrote this over here. So I know my 4 is in the tens, so I have 40 and 6 in the ones, so 6. Now, again, this 20 plus 7 is still 27, and 40 plus 6 is still 46. I haven't changed the numbers at all. I just broke them apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to multiply each box's numbers together. So what you're going to do is, like, the 20 is in this box and the 40 is in this box. So I do 20 times 40. The 7 is in this box, the 40 is in this box. I'll do 7 times 40, and, you know, so on and so forth. So let's do that right now. I'm going to write what problem is in each box first, and then I'll solve it. So I have 20 times 40 right here. I've got 7 times 40. I've got 20 times 6, and I have 7 times 6. Now you solve. I'm going to start from this one and kind of work my way up. So 7 times 6, this is one of those ones that I have memorized. Again, 7 times 6 is 42. If you really wanted to, if you needed help with multiplication, you could always do repeated addition. So you have 7, or you have 6 sevens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You add all of those together and you would come up with 42. That's if you need to. You don't have to do that. But I've got 42 in this box. Now I'm going to scooch on over to 7 times 40. When I see a problem like this, and it's 7 times 40, what I do is, honestly, I just take my finger and I cover up that 0. And then I do 7 times 4, which is 28. And then I add the 0 back on and get 280. Okay? Because if you really, if you went to the standard method of multiplication and you did 40 times 7, you would get 7 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 4 is 28. Either way, same thing. So I'm going to do the same thing in the top right. 20 times 6, I know 2 times 6 is 12. Add that 0 on, I get 120. My next step is going to be 20 times 40. Again, 2 times 4 is 8, and then add those zeros on that I would have covered up, and boom, you have 800. Now, you're not done. This isn't it. Our next step for multiplication is to take all of these answers that we have in each box and add them together. So I'm going to do it back up here. So I'm going to bring this back down just because this is where I have space. And we have 800, and then we have 280, and then 120, and then 42. We're going to add all of that together. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. Big surprise. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So our 4 is going to stay here. We're going to regroup that 1 over into the hundredths place. We have 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 1 is 12. And we get 1,242. Add our comma there. And that is how you multiply with the box method. Okay. So we have that right there. Now I'm going to use the exact same numbers. So 27 and 46 for partial products. Okay. So this is the box method, but we are going to go on to the next one here. So flip the page and let's write partial products at the top. And our numbers were 27. Were they 27? 27 and 42? 27 and 46. Good thing I checked. I would not have remembered. So we already know, and I'm going to flip it over again. Just our answer is 1,242. 1,242. I'm going to write that there so we can double check our work here. So we have 46 and 27. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave 46 as is. So we have 46. But we're going to take that 27 and we're going to change it to 20 and 7. So what I'm going to do is I have that 46 and I'm going to multiply 46 times 20 and 46 times 7. Okay? So this is one way you could do it. I'm going to show you the other way of doing partial products as well. But right now you have 46 times 7. So if you take 46 times 7, you do 7 times 6 is 42. You do 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4, 322. Now, again, this is one where we can cover up that 0. You do it like this, cover up that 0 and do 2 times 46 and add on the 0 later. So 46, so 2 times 6 is 12. Regroup that 1. 2 times 4 is 8. You get 9. And then add that 0 back on. We do 920 plus 322. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 9 plus 3 is 12. Well, look at that. We got the exact same answer. Now, basically, we're breaking it. We broke it apart, and we just made multiplying a little bit easier. Rather than trying to do 27 by itself, we just break it apart so we can look at the numbers just by themselves. Now, let me show you what our standard method is. If we're doing standard multiplication, which some of you might be comfortable with, some of you might not, that's totally fine. If you can't multiply like that, use one of these other methods that I've just showed you. But our standard method is, again, what a lot of adults say, well, this is the way I learned back in the day, and it's the way that makes sense. Multiplication is multiplication, and that's the way it should be. And even though I agree to a point, like, yes, this way works, it's not the way you have to do it. But we're going to do it this way because it doesn't require any addition or anything like that. It's just, well, a little bit of addition, but it's just basic multiplication. So if you do 46 times 27, we have to start with our 7. We always start with our first digit here. And we do 7 times 6 is 42. So we put our 2 here and our 4. Now we do 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 4 is 322. Look at that. Same numbers as we had up there. Next up, we can cross off that 4 because we already used it. We're going to add a 0 down here because now we're multiplying by a 2 in the tens place. Because it's in the tens place, we just throw this 0 here because it's like multiplying the number by, we're actually multiplying by 20, not by 2. So we use that 0 as a placeholder. Then we do 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12, so we put our 2 down here, but we have to regroup that 1 up here because it's actually worth 10. Then we have 2 times 4, which is equal to 8, and 1 is 9. Look at that. Our numbers are the same. We just did it a little bit differently. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 9 is 12. Once again, we get the exact same answer. So you can multiply any way that you would like, as long as you come to this answer. I just wanted to show you some different processes. I'm going to do one more. I might do a couple more problems. We'll see how it goes. Again, I think you're all fine. And it looks like I'm looking at the chat right now. I know regrouping is kind of rough. Well, I'll show what I'll do is I'll put the standard method right next to the box method, because I do like the box method. This is partial products. I don't know why I pointed at it, but I'll do standard method right next to the box method to hopefully explain it a little bit easier. Oops, wrong way. Let's flip this around. Okay. So we've got a new problem. It is going to be, here, let's do a triple digit number. So let's do 137 times 58. Again, I'm just picking random numbers. Just nothing. I don't have a sheet of paper next to me or something with all this. I'm just doing it right here with you right now. So for the box method, I am going to once again split it up based on their place value. So if we take it, we have 100, we have 30, and we have 7. Let's draw our box. And I know some of you out there are actually using lattice multiplication most of the time. I know Mr. Fry taught a lot of people the box method, or not the box method, lattice multiplication. I just don't have an understanding for lattice multiplication, at least not enough to teach it, especially live. So this is why I'm not teaching it that way. So we have 137, so that's our first number, and then we have 50 and 8. So what we do is, once again, we can write out the problems in the box to help it out a little bit. So we have 100 times 50, and then we have 30 times 50 and 7 times 50, and then we have 100 times 8, 30 times 8, and 7 times 8. Now, once again, we're just going to kind of fill in the boxes, fill in these answers. So we're going to do 7 times 8, which is 56. Again, I have that one memorized. If you need to do a specific strategy, such as repeated addition, to solve it, that's totally fine. Then we're going to do 30 times 8. Again, I can just do 3 times 8, which is 24, and add that 0 on the end to make multiplying it a little bit easier. So we have 240. And then 100 times 8, 1 times 8 is 8, and then add those 2 zeros on, we have 800. 7 times 5 is 35. Add the 0, and you have 7 times 50, which gives you 350. 30 times 50, or 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 0, 0, 1,500. One more time, 50 times 100, 5 times 1 is 5. Add those 3 zeros on at the end, and we get 5,000. Now, what we do is we are going to take it all in again, and we're going to do, let's do it at the top here because I want to use the bottom half of the page for something else. 5,000, 1,500, 800, 350. Uh-oh, I'm going to run out of space, I think. 240 and 56 kind of mixed in there with that 7. It happens, whatever. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 plus 5. I'm going to add those together. That's 10, 14. Regroup that 1. Then we have 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Regroup that 1. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Our answer comes to 7,946. Notice I didn't say 7,900 and 46. Because if it was and 46, then it would be a decimal. Okay, so I am actually going to also show how the partial product can get us to the same thing while the box method is right here too. I said I was just going to do box and standard, but let's do both. So if I have 137, let's bring this up a little bit. 137, and I'm going to multiply it by 50, and then 137 times 8. Let me show you something here. So first of all, 7 times 8 is 56. Tiny bit of regrouping here. We have 8 times 3 is 24, plus 5 is 29. Regroup that 2, and we get 3. Oh, sorry, not 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So we actually get 1,096. Sorry, messed up there. But let me show you something. If I were to add just these 3 numbers together, so it would be 137 times 8, you get 800 plus 240 plus 56. That actually equals 1,096. You can go ahead and do the math on a calculator and prove me wrong. But I don't think I am. Okay, so now we're just going to do the same thing over here. So we have, we can do this. 0 times 7 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. That's why we just kind of add the 0 on at the end, because you just get a bunch of zeros. So if we add that 0 on the end, because this is 50, we get 5 times 7 is 35. Regroup that 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. Plus 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. And you would get 6,850. And if you actually did the math up here, this is actually 6,850. Now, partial products say you add this together, which gives you 7,946. Now, if we take our standard method and we just do 137 times 58, let's go through it. So 8 times 7 is 56. Regroup that 5. 8 times 3 is 24. And then 24 plus 5 is 29. Regroup the 2. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Cross those off. We don't need those anymore. We've already used them. They're gone. They're down here now. They're mixed in. So we add on our 0 because now we're multiplying by 50. Not 5, 50. So that 5 times 7 is 35. So we put our 5 here. We regroup our 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. Regroup our 1. 5 times 5 is 5. Or sorry, 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. Add all of this together. 6, 4, 9, 7. And just like that, we have 7,946 for the third time. Woo! Okay. That's all I have for you today. Just a little bit of multiplication review. Yeah, that's it. If you need anything, I'm going to post up the math assignment here. It'll probably take me about 10-15 minutes to get created and posted. It'll be on the Google Classroom along with this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment on there. But yeah, other than that, I will see you later.